Good afternoon. How are you all today? Hopefully you're all doing very well. And like Fran and I, during the week off last week, you have become refreshed, revitalized relationships, and refocused. What was the third R? I forgot now.
Refreshed, refueled, and rebooted.
Refueled. Yes, that's it. Hopefully you've all become refueled. I am Shelley, and this is Fran, and you are watching or joining Friday with Fran. Welcome very much. We're so happy that you are here. And we just chat about things regarding special education, having children with disabilities, being a person with disabilities. Hi, Alex. Welcome.
Hi, Alex.
Glad you're joining us. I missed everybody last week. Hopefully those of you who normally join us have missed us as well. If you like this, make sure to like it, give it a thumbs up, do a subscribe to the channel, share it, comment, do all those fun things to make the Facebook algorithm show this to more people. And welcome, Fran and Cooper. How are you guys today?
Oh, we're doing okay. We have a friend down there, so he's trying to figure out what the friend's doing. That's what he's doing right now. So, but I'm not.
Yes.
Yes,
he's not his normal calm
He's going to
self.
the parrot mode apparently. So there we go.
Yes, and you can tell that where we are, it's a little cooler temperatures because both Fran and I are in sweatshirts and Cooper's in a sweater.
Yes, I do not have a tank top on. Like I normally do.
So Fran,
yes.
What did you do when we weren't with everybody last week?
What did I do? I did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and a little bit more.
Oh,
of the
well,
that
can you go
and
into
this.
more details, please?
Oh, you want me to go to more details? Yeah, let me just fix this thingy. It's driving me crazy.
Okay.
And then I'll go into details. Okay, so I wanted to share a couple things with y'all. Because I went on a mission trip, but the cool thing was I went on an adventure.
Of course.
Because, why not have adventures when you go? And so I'm going to share this. Maybe. Did I share it?
Okay. Yep, now it popped up.
So this is, I made a little album of things to share.
Okay.
I don't know if it'll work or not. Where you just see a thing at a time. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we went to this elk park. Isn't that really cool, that elk? And it wasn't very far away. So that was how we started the trip. And it really kind of got me in the just realizing how peaceful just getting away from the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
And I missed the exit, so we had to go back through. And so we saw a whole bunch more that had come out because we were kind of early. And that was that big one that we saw previously. He decided he needed to swim.
Oh.
So
that's beautiful.
Then this is when we were there, the beginning night. That was the sunset. And I just thought it was just so pretty. And if you can see, the moon's there too.
Star. Oh, it's the moon. Okay.
That's the moon. And the sun was setting. It was just really peaceful to me. And I like that one. So I got up super early and to capture the sunrise.
Yeah.
But it was really dark. And I could hear the coyotes.
Oh.
And so I determined that I know coyotes really aren't, they're more afraid of us. But I also wanted to use a little wisdom. So I stayed near buildings till it got a little brighter.
Yeah, good idea.
And then I saw this random mushroom. And I sent it to a horticulturist friend, and she said, "Yeah, don't eat that." So I said, "Okay, I won't eat it," because I was thinking.
Yeah, no, those are the kind that I just smash.
Yeah. So, and I wanted to show you this. This was these kids were playing, and Allie decided she wanted to jump in the lake too.
So the weather was still warm. It wasn't like it is today.
Yeah. It was a little chilly actually, but kids will be kids. And
that's true.
So I went along as the cook.
Uh-huh.
And I got to try all kinds of new fun things. So this is crescent rolls with all kinds of stuff in them for breakfast. And I put gravy in the middle. That one has cheese on it and that one doesn't. But you know what I was thinking? You could do it like with buffalo chicken and stuff. So I got my like inner creative going and it made me have fun.
Okay,
And
don't show
then,
me too many more food pictures because I haven't had lunch yet.
oh, okay. I won't.
I'm
I think
teasing.
I
I'm
only think
teasing.
I have a other food picture. So isn't this pretty? So
Yeah.
so what I'm just showing. I'm going through kind of quickly just so you can kind of see. So this is my view. That was my view on the mornings, and then this was another of um, Allie enjoying life.
Oh,
And
there's
it
some
was
more food.
interesting. Oh, oh, sorry. Those are the chocolate delight. It's supposed to
Oh.
be in a pan, but instead I kind of cheated and used pre-made graham cracker crust. Oh my goodness gracious. So, oh, and this is the team.
Nice.
Um, and this person here, she actually sewed, and I
Oh.
cooked. And this is the garage manager. There's another person, he didn't make it in the team picture, that was from there, and the rest of them they came from all over the states to be there. So it was really
Oh,
kind of
awesome.
cool to work, and like they all were in the garage. So I thought it was kind of fun. And then Bit got to actually work on things and do things. And oh yeah, and then there was an eagle. I was going back. We had morning devotionals every morning, and going back to cook, I was like, oh, I think that's an eagle. And lo and behold, it was, and there was a fledgling. So it
Oh.
was really really neat. And so this is, I don't know if it'll play. Okay, this was me driving. I wanted you guys to see how fast my chair goes.
Oh my gosh, this is you in your chair. I thought this was you in a car.
No, this is me in my chair. Isn't it cool? And so this was the little
Yeah,
path I went on every day. Um, and it just was fun to just, um, even when it was had rained, it this path was smooth, sturdy enough that I could go on it. So
that's
anyway,
wonderful.
um,
It's very pretty there.
and look at this bent. This what is that thingy called? Swing.
Swing.
Do you see how it's being held up?
Some sort of a bar
It's in the
between the
trees.
two trees.
It's in the trees.
It's in the trees. Oh,
Well, maybe not that one. The other one, it's in the tree, actually. They put it through the tree. This one, it looks like it's mounted on the outside. But I
that's
thought that was
awesome.
really neat. And then, so the final day, I didn't have to cook. We were eating leftovers, so I stayed in the garage. And that's that stuff you throw on the oil to absorb it.
Oh, uh-huh.
And so I got to work with it some. And that's my
Nice.
power chair. So, and I just, oh
Was-
yeah, and then there was a mutant catfish too.
Why do you call it a mutant?
Well, it's got funky spots on it.
Okay.
Okay, it's not mutant. It's different
I don't
looking.
know. It could be.
I don't, a different looking catfish. How about we go with that? And
Okay.
then this was coming back. We found a buck
Oh,
because it's deer season,
right.
and that was really hard to capture. I kind of had to turn the car real fast to take the picture and get angled. And this is okay. Do you remember I told you I had to cook fish?
Yes, mahi mahi.
Yes, and I'm not real familiar with fish, but that's what I made. Um,
It looks
it
pretty
had
before it's
it has a
cooked.
California blend, and then the fish. Oh yeah, and that was like sensory overload. I had to wash the fish and pat it dry, and yeah, that was a texture issue. It was very, and that was definitely a love thing. And then put some type of, I made a butter or something that I poured on it, and then the lemons,
Mhm.
and I made a compound butter. But they steamed up in these little packets, and everyone liked them.
That
And
sounds
that was,
delicious.
and we pushed the tables together and all crammed in. And one dinner day, and that was when we were talking to my parents, and
Oh,
that's it.
okay.
So that was it. So anyway, but one dinner day we had our people.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
So, for those who don't speak math and numbers in the way that Fran does, R would be 18 people.
So
That's quite a bit of people for a dinner.
it was and then that supper then I think we had M. So
Okay.
that day, we had quite a few that day.
So
But it was
M
fun.
is 12 or 13.
So it was fun. You don't have to share that. But
Okay.
that was more, hey, where are you going? But so what I wanted to share really quickly was just a couple things I learned on this trip.
Okay.
Because in case you didn't know, I was in a wheelchair, but I did use my walker too. But just because I can, it does not mean that I have to.
Yes. Or that you
I
should,
or that I should.
right?
Yes. And needing help is not a sign of weakness or failure.
It is that very true. I want to stop you for a second before you go any further,
Oh,
because this morning
goodness.
I was subbing,
Mhm.
and a young man that was taking his test with me in a different location than the rest of his class. He had to carry a computer, a laptop, a Chromebook, his textbook, a pencil, a piece of paper, and I'm trying to think if there was something else that he had to carry. So going
Mhm.
from his classroom to the place where I was going to help him with his test, he carried the computer and I carried everything else. But he had the computer open because he had already logged in his classroom. So we had to walk downstairs, and he was very careful and he did a great job. When he finished his test and he was ready to go back to class, he closed up the computer. So it was a little easier to carry. And he stacked it on top of his book and his piece of paper, and he had the pencil to the side. And I said, "Are you okay to go back to class without my assistance? Or do you want me to help you carry things?" And he positioned the objects again, and then he repositioned them one more time. And then he said, "I think it would be good if you carry the computer this time." And I said, "That was a very wise decision. You took your time, you thought about it, and I'm really happy that you made that decision to ask for help." So I
Mhm.
tried to encourage him and let him know that it's okay and it's a good thing to recognize, you know what, I could do this, but it might be safer if I
Mhm.
had some help.
Right.
And I think that's what you just said, is that it's okay to ask for help. It doesn't mean that
Mhm.
you're a failure or that, and if you can do something, that doesn't always mean you should.
Right. So, are you ready for the other ones I learned,
Yes.
or should I stop? Um,
Nope, you're good. I just wanted to interject that because
yeah, I do, and then thank you for tying it in and make. Oh my goodness gracious, Cooper, there's so much going on. You're just gonna have to get down for a while. Rest is as important as doing.
yes. Wow, that's a good one.
Yeah, I learned lots. Did I
Apply?
assimilate it into my everyday life? I'm working on it. It's a educational process
Yep.
that um has a ways to go.
Progress. Yep. Progress over perfection.
Yes. And God's ways often are not our ways.
So true. So incredibly true.
But it was really cool because his ways came out so much. What did Alex just say?
Did you hear what you just said?
No, not at all.
She followed it up probably at the time that you were typing it, because there is a little bit of a delay, but she did follow it up with, "I don't always follow my own advice, but I'm working on it."
And then the other part is being flexible is way harder when you're tired. Where do you want your paper?
Yes, that is very true. Being flexible, being able to handle situations when you're tired is always more difficult because all of your normal mechanisms are thrown off, your coping mechanisms.
Yeah. And because sometimes I don't always have the patience with my daughter when
Mhm.
she does, and I don't when she doesn't sleep, she doesn't handle things well and
Mhm.
doesn't understand the importance of when I say, "Yeah, it's time to turn off the TV in bedtime," because the following day she's a bear. It's just
Right.
inevitable because she doesn't have that flexibility. And so I experienced that same lack of flexibility in myself, um, because I still was getting up at my normal time, which is like 1:12 in the morning,
Right.
but I wasn't always going to bed at my normal time, and I
Yeah.
was doing more than I normally do.
Yep.
And I just was not, I didn't handle it well a couple times, and I had a friend that just said, "Go lay down. I'm fine. I got to do this and I got to do this. Go lay down. We got it." It's like, okay.
Yep.
So, um, it gave me a lot of insight into um, myself and into my daughter and our relationship. So it was truly, yes, I went to serve, but I learned so much.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say that had hopefully will have opportunity to grow from that which I learned.
Yeah. It is amazing. I think if you really pay attention to yourself and your own feelings and what's happening around you, you are always learning, or at least there's always the potential to be learning.
Hmm.
And when we, what's that saying? To know thine self, thine own self is to be true. Um, I think it's something like that. And
No idea.
the more I learn about myself, the more I'm able to handle other situations with other people.
Hmm.
And when, like you said, when you recognized on this trip that when you're tired, you don't deal with things as well. And for me, I had learned that about myself a long time ago, but that probably has something to do with the fact that I've studied behaviors for a long time. So I've learned, different things that trigger my behaviors. But also, there is a gentleman, his name is Howard Gardner, and I don't even honestly know if he's still alive. And he has a theory of multiple intelligences. So he doesn't think that you either are or aren't intelligent. And I had really, when I was going through college and learned about this, I really was fascinated by it. And his theory is that all of us are intelligent, but there is an area where we are most intelligent. And at the time, he had seven, I believe. So A, B, C, D, E, F. He had G. Um, and now I think he might have H or I. I'm not sure. Um, but one of them was intrapersonal intelligence. So knowing yourself and being just like you have a what's the word that I want? A natural inclination to a certain thing.
Hmm.
And I think for me, intrapersonal and interpersonal. So that's knowing yourself and what your triggers and your how you respond and how you react and how you learn and all of those kinds of things was one of my strengths. And then interpersonal is how those interactions between myself and somebody else. And, kind of knowing a little bit of being able to sort of read people. Um, and then his other ones are math, body, like artists, like dancers, like there's kinesthetic, kinesthesiology, movement, um, visual, spatial, languages. And I know I'm forgetting. Let's see, I don't know. But anyway, look him up if you're interested. But I mean, I did. I found that to be so true with so many people once I learned about that because it did, if you start thinking about people that maybe somebody isn't really strong intellectually speaking going through school, but when they get out of school and they can focus their attention on what interests them and what really seems like a natural thing,
Hmm.
they're so intelligent in that area. Um, so to me, it made a lot of sense.
No, no, I get. Yeah, I think if I'm trying to pull through my Thunk and Wagnall up there. I remember studying that
Yeah.
long time ago.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I think that's awesome when you can recognize your own weaknesses to work on improving them so they become a strength. And it
yeah.
sounds like that's what you did without intending to.
Yeah. And because prior to being differently abled, I prided myself in never needing help.
Right.
And so I I have the propensity to always feel that I need to prove that I don't need help now. But I really do. But
Hmm.
it's okay that I do. It
Right.
doesn't mean I'm a failure because
No.
that's how I feel if I and but I know it's not truth, but it's what I feel.
Yeah. And fighting through our feelings to get to rational thoughts, because honestly, our feelings are irrational. Irrational meaning that, they're going to change. They don't always tell the truth, and they may not be based in truth. So being able to work through and find the factual information that goes along with our feelings is difficult. And we have to be conscious about it and tell yourself, yeah, no, this is just a feeling. This isn't the reality of a situation.
Mhm. Yep.
And that's not always easy.
No, and that kinda leads me to I found this thingy-madoodle on Facebook, and so then I just kinda copied and pasted it to make it a little more easy to read. Um,
Okay.
that I was wondering if we could kinda talk about it because it's I when I was feeling as a failure, because I had to ask for help, I had to reboot and reprocess, take those thoughts captive, and speak truth instead. And so instead of saying, "Oh, I am a failure because I could not open that jar," come to realize this jar was on really hard, and it took quite a few of the guys to go through it to finally for the jar to open and to just reframe it.
Hmm.
And so I saw this and it really reminded me kind of that, and I was wondering if we could read some of these.
Of course.
And it talks about with ADHD, but it could be with any different ability.
Right.
So why don't you do the before?
Okay. You have so much potential if you just apply yourself.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah. Yeah. Because that means that they're not applying, they're not trying hard enough.
That you believe that's how they think you feel about them.
Right.
Instead,
Yep.
just leave that
Yep.
ending part out and say you have so much potential.
Exactly. Yep. Do you want me to take us out of the bottom of the screen, or are you okay with us in the bottom?
I'm okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Have you taken your medication?
There's so many things wrong with that one.
Yeah.
Do you want all your medical information out there? Do you
Nope.
share that with people? I
Nope.
don't. And
Yeah.
yet I find myself saying that to my daughter. Hey, did you take your meds?
Right. Because we know that the medicine helps. And so in our heads, we're thinking we're being helpful and like we're reminding. But
Mhm.
like you said, do you want everybody? You don't want everybody to know your medical knowledge,
Mhm.
your medical information.
And instead, you could say, "What can I do to help you feel less distracted?" That is so less blaming and so much more
Right.
working together. That's how I see that one.
Right. And it also is validating that, hey, I can see that you're struggling. I'm going to walk alongside you. What you're going through is valid.
Mhm.
I want to help.
Yeah.
Do I have to say this one?
Mm-hmm.
You're not smart enough to go to college. And I don't like that one because I've had teachers say that to my students before.
Mm.
You'll never go to college. You're not smart enough. And, first and foremost, college isn't the be all to end all. There are many, many other ways to get an education, and there are many other ways to be successful in life.
Mm-hmm. And they say you should start a business. I also think, as you were saying, there are so many other ways. You could go to a trade school. You could go do an internship. You could just go volunteer somewhere to find out what you want to do. Because I know I really kind of wasted a lot of my college because I went in thinking, or I went in with a scholarship in a certain direction. So that's kind of what I had to do. And it wasn't really what I ended up doing. So I have all these extra credits. Instead, if I just gone in without a set path and just gone in, I might have not wasted as much time and found out what my interests were.
Yeah. Before we go to the next one, I just got this in the mail today and I ordered it on Tuesday. So I ordered it on #NoLimitsDay.
Okay.
And I ordered it from my guest that I interviewed on the #NoLimits on that day. His daughter is somebody who their school system at first didn't think that she would be able to do much. But I'm going to share it and hopefully you all can see it. It's a painting.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is fabulous.
And she has a whole collection that people can purchase. And of course, I had to find the butterfly because that's what the whole #NoLimits is about. But yeah, I mean, she's not college age even yet, but she's had people tell her, that she shouldn't even be in school at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that, she wasn't, she, how do I want to say that? Not that she didn't deserve to be there, but that, they wanted to find other places for her.
Mm-hmm.
And her parents eventually did take her out and get her into someplace else. And then that's when it was recognized that she has some amazing art talent.
That's
So
cool.
yeah, it doesn't have to be a business. It doesn't have to be any kind of schooling. Like you said, you could be a volunteer. You could look at the military. You could look at the art world. You could, there's college is not the pinnacle of a person's life.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like this one either. You're making me read all the mean ones. You don't even try. Or I could, you don't even, I could do that thing where you emphasize each different word.
Mm-hmm.
Because on any given day, it could have been said, you don't even try. And what we see on the outside seems to show something. And that's where we judge and make our opinions. But if we could see what was going on inside the brain, we would have a vastly different approach to the words, you don't even try.
And I really can relate to that statement, right? Because when I had my stroke, and they have call it the golden time. If you're going to get it back, you get it back within that time frame.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. And if you don't get it back by then, you're probably not going to get whatever physical or skill set you lost. And I was not getting numbers. And I was trying because I love numbers. And I was told that I wasn't trying.
Oh,
And it just devastated me. I was like, I'm really, really trying. I was sitting there with chutes and ladders in front of me, trying to figure out how to count so I could move my little person. And I was told I didn't try. And it was so hard. If someone had said, I love seeing you try it, just keep trying, we're going to figure it out, it would have made all the world of a difference that
yeah.
day. Instead, I think I just sat back and didn't try because I
Right.
fulfilled that prophecy at that point.
Right. And I don't know with someone who's had a stroke if this changes how a person learns or not. But the more calm and relaxed a person is when they're trying to learn a new skill in a typical situation. I don't know if this applies to someone who's had a stroke, but um, the more likely you are to be able to learn the material. And so for you to feel as if this person didn't believe in you and just thought you were not taking it seriously or whatever prompted the person to say those words causes some anxiety and some nerves to kick in and negative emotions to kick in. And when you're happy or peaceful or calm and your emotions will allow you to learn the things just kind of flow through better.
Mm-hmm.
So for that person to say that actually possibly hindered your ability to learn.
But thankfully, I will say I had such an amazing support system around me that could see that I was trying.
Yeah.
And just gave me encouragement. So I know it made a difference. Because they would say, I know you're trying. I can see it. Don't give up.
And I don't know
You'll
if
get
when
what you'll
people
get.
say these things, if it's somehow they think they're motivating or if they just don't, or if they really feel what they're saying. I have no idea.
Well, I can put this on a personal level because I did it the other day to my daughter. She was supposed to be cleaning her room.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there and she was really proud of what she'd done. And I went in there and all I could see what she hadn't done.
Oh, yeah.
And I walked in, I said, so this is there, this is there. What did you do? What have you been doing in here? You didn't do anything. And I just saw her face fall. And it was like, oh, Fran, shut up. Tell her what you see she did.
Yeah.
And
It's a mind shift.
It was so hard because I just wanted her to get it done. And so I was looking at the whole thing going, it's not done. But I didn't instead focus on she had done this, this, and this. And so I had to apologize to her and say, I'm sorry. I see you did. I see you got this done and you did get this done. And I'm really proud of you for doing that. Do you want me to help you get the rest of it done? So,
Yeah.
it's a work in progress.
It is. And, again, I've been studying behaviors and saying things in the positive for a long time. But I'm sure I still, well, I know I don't. I've had a couple of times recently, and I can't think specifically of what it was, but as soon as I said it, I thought, okay, you're the one teaching these things to people, and here you just did it the way you're telling them not to do it.
Or you do
yeah.
it to yourself, even. Your self talk to
Right.
yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that is self talk. Self talk.
Yeah, that's
we're
like
hard on ourselves.
self-advocacy for yourself. That's the same thing.
Yeah. So, Anyway,
It is. It's a mindset and it's
mhm,
practice, because there are so many things that when I was teaching every day, because I had practiced them and because I was doing those certain skill sets on a daily basis, they became sort of second nature to me.
mhm.
But because I don't do them every day and I'm not practicing them every day, I will find myself going back to bad habits when I'm doing some of my sub spots. And then I get frustrated with myself because something will pop out of my mouth and I'll think, now you know better than that. Why did you just say that? So even those of us who have studied this for a long time still get it wrong, or could do better with it. I don't know if wrong is the
Could grow in that
exact.
area.
Yeah.
We can all grow. Because, like you said previously, we're always growing, we're always learning. Because when we stop is when we go backwards and we cease to
Mm-hmm.
exist and life loses purpose and meaning.
Yep. When I sign my books or when I autograph them, that's the thing I say is always keep learning. New word, practice. Oh, so balance has been replaced with practice?
Oh no. uh, and practice doesn't make perfect, by the way. I'm just letting you know. Practice just causes you to turn makes healthy
Practice makes what? My headphones.
ha- habits.
Oh, habit. Yeah.
Makes habit,
Yeah.
not perfection. Because
Practice
I think,
makes, it depends on if you're practicing correctly or incorrectly. So that changes what I was about to say. So yes, I agree with you. Practice makes a habit.
but does it make a healthy habit, or does it make it a positive, a good habit or a bad habit?
Yes. What I was
And
going to say was
yeah, go ahead.
practice makes progress, but then I started thinking, but if you're not practicing correctly,
You could be
then you
progressing the wrong direction, I guess.
exactly.
So it does make
You could
progress. It just makes.
yeah, you could be making a bad habit instead of a good habit.
Thanks, Alex, for the new word.
Yeah. So, have you been back home for several days, or did you just recently get back home? Or do you know what I
Um,
even asked you?
you asked me a lot of questions. Um, I got home on recording day, and
Okay.
because I didn't always use wisdom, and I didn't always ask for help, and I didn't always rest, this has been a recovery time
Mm-hmm.
of uh, I'm drained in all ways. Um, and it really gave me insight into my daughter's walk through life,
Yeah.
because when she's tired, she doesn't handle things well.
Mm-hmm.
And I tend to, I mean, I know when she's tired and I know she's not, but I don't always know how to help her work through it, or how to walk alongside of her to help her get the things done that still have to get accomplished as she's tired. But it's opened my eyes to understand better, because I've told you my mantra, my motto, what I'm trying to walk out all the time: making memories, living life, revitalizing relationships, all for the glory of
Mm-hmm.
God. But specifically, I want to be in the moment as I'm doing that. And so I'm trying to be more intentional in my interactions with others. So this has helped me in my intentionality with my daughter in such a
That's
neat
wonderful.
way. It's been a real good blessing.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, we're done for the day. No.
uh, And also my son was struggling because I wasn't nearby, and there was no way I could be nearby because I was very far away from him.
Right.
I've spent a couple of days in a row where I've had meals with him and time with him. So
Good.
it was good um, to have that time. But it was also good for him to realize that I can't always just drop everything and be there. It was a time of growth for him. And it was hard for me because I couldn't just drop everything and be there. Because I tend to do that. If there's a crisis and there's a staff problem, he's a town away. So I generally drop everything, get in the car, and run there. But I probably shouldn't all the time.
Yeah, and that's a difficult as a parent, a difficult concept to live out.
Even with typically developing
Absolutely.
children.
Yeah. Yeah. And there have been times when I've wanted to go help a situation. And even though my daughter
Bless
was
you.
at college, she wasn't, Fran says, bless you. She wasn't that terribly far away that I couldn't get to her. But I had to make both her and I deal with it with me far away, because that's a skill she needed to learn for that particular, instance. That is our job, I believe, as parents, is to try to grow our children to be as productive and independent as possible when they become adults. And there's that balance word. It's very
Uh,
true, because yeah, I mean, you're not always going to be, like you said, when you were on your missions trip, you weren't able to run and rescue. And I'm not always going to be close enough. I mean, Violet talks about when she's finished with school and moving far away, much farther away than where the distance between college and home now.
mm,
There's a lot of skills that she's going to have to do on her own and figure out and problem solve without me, because she cannot be on the phone with me 24/7 to figure these things out.
YouTube and Google work really well.
They do. They really do. And
But you have to have the right words to find sometimes.
yeah, don't even get me started. I can search for an hour and then somebody else can come and type in 3 words. I'm like, oh, it's right there. Yeah.
Uh,
I've gotten better, now that Google's been around for as long as it's been around. I'm starting to figure out, okay, focus on just these words of what I'm looking for.
mm-hmm.
But I still don't always find it right away. But yeah, there's a lot of self-help, a lot of how-to videos, things that you can find to do and help. But yeah, that's a tough thing, I think, for all parents, whether their child is with or without a disability.
Mm-hmm. So my question is, how do we how do we go about changing when we realize there's something within us that we need to change? How do we go about doing it, yet give ourselves grace in the process?
Well, I think I have a good example of that, to be honest. For years and years, I have wanted to get in better shape. I really don't. I'm not the kind of person who exercises on a regular basis, and it's weird because I usually enjoy exercising or being active. Kevin and I like to go on hiking trails and do take walks and, do things kind of like that. And so for years, I'm like, I need to be in better shape. Well, I would start and then, go do an exercise routine for several days. And then something would happen and I would miss a day. And then I would be really hard on myself. Like, yep, just like normal, just like all the other times, you're not going to stick with this. It's not going to, have any benefit for you, whatever. And then eventually I would stop doing it.
Mm-hmm.
This time, Kevin and Violet are getting in shape, getting in better shape as well. And so we've encouraged one another. But even on the days when they've gone to the gym and I haven't, I tell myself it's okay. Go tomorrow. And even if you don't go tomorrow, go to the next day. You'll be okay. You've already done more than you have done in the past. But it took me a lot of times of trying and giving up before I got to the point of being able to give myself that grace of, it's okay. Start over tomorrow. Or it's okay. Pick up again tomorrow. And again, I think it's a mind shift and just, remembering that so much of what we've talked about, progress over perfection, keep going forward. Even if, maybe you've taken these kind of movements forward, all of a sudden you're only taking these movements forward. You do enough of these movements, with them going the wrong way, and then eventually you have that without even realizing it, and no matter what it is, whether it's working out, eating better, doing homework, getting better sleep, taking better care of ourselves, changing our mindset.
It starts in the thought process.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I know what I've done is, much like you have other people that be there for you and help you be accountable and encourage you. Also, I put little stickies up and note cards and send emails to myself to remind me. I schedule texts to myself that will randomly pop up.
Oh, nice.
And remind me of, hey, it's a new day.
Yep.
Or, so find a positive, think it out, speak it out.
Mm-hmm.
So that has helped me to
Good.
start taking those thoughts captive and getting my the mindset moving in a forward motion.
And when apparently we lost
Oh no.
signal, maybe, when we walk these things out, we're teaching our children, or if we don't have children that see us, we're teaching others around us the process, and that we are just teaching by example, and so much more of how somebody learns is by watching someone else's example instead of just listening to their words.
Mm-hmm. Right, for sure. And being real.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hide the ugly and only show the good.
Yeah. Yeah. Facebook and social media do a horrible job of that, because people take 1,000 pictures, and some people I've seen in the past few years, all the calendars that people are saying, okay, it took 27 tries to get the perfect picture, or and so I'm happy to see that there is a little bit of change in that, but there's still too much of everything's this way, see,
Right.
and it's not 100% intentional, meaning that people aren't trying to look perfect in order to make others feel bad, but I want this to look nice. You know, I want a nice memory of this moment. Yesterday was my mom's 75th birthday.
Happy
And
birthday. Where is she?
I don't know. And I put together this montage of pictures that I've had of her from over the years. And she gave me permission to post it. And I just, I had to let her see it first. And it's kind of her in a bunch of silly, some of them are silly. She has silly facial expressions. She's in a silly pose. And she said, go ahead and post that because those are all memories. Those, yeah, I'm not happy about every picture in there, but it's still a memory. It still takes me back to that moment when that happened. So being able, and I think she said, she stopped focusing on how she looks so much in those pictures that are taken of her. And just to remember that, people want those pictures and they are memories of something. So yeah, I think that it's okay to laugh at ourselves and to give ourselves that I'm not always perfect, and that's okay. And everything in my life isn't always sunshine and rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes it's the rain and the clouds
Mm-hmm.
and getting jabbed by the unicorn's horn.
Yeah. I had a thought and it ran away.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm sorry.
Didn't
So
cross your fingers.
I know I didn't because my fingers hurt, so I can't cross them.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They're a little sore today. I think the weather change. I, that is an area I've discovered my body doesn't handle cold as well as it used to.
Uh-oh. Are you going to move where it's warmer all the time?
No,
Oh,
because I don't like heat. I personally don't like the heat, so I would rather just bundle up a little bit more. But I also like the air, so we have the doors open, so there's like this tunnel
yeah.
going of wind tunnel going right now.
Great, great. So you're going to cause some turbulent weather in your house
Yeah, sure,
in
why
the
not?
cold.
So I'm trying to think how to just tie this all up in like a little package, but it's not really coming together today. And I think maybe that's how it's being tied up because I'm tired and
Uh-huh.
we've covered a lot of ground and as we've talked it's been emotionally draining thinking through some of the things I've said or not said or the things that I've received through life or heard someone say to me and I allowed to enter in rather
Yeah.
than to go that's not truth and just kind of go hold up my little shield and go bing so this has been an emotionally draining time. It's been good to share, but there's so much I see as I need to grow and then I'm like oh my gosh there's so much to grow. It's always growing, always learning, but I love to learn, but learning's not always easy
No.
and it's not always fun. And I think even and unfortunately we've made it where we have to have fun. We try to make everyone think as teachers you have to make everything fun. Well, you don't. There's some things you just teach
Uh-huh.
and the, and it's okay if it's not fun because it's something that has to be learned. And that's the same thing in life. Not everything is fun, but it's needs to be learned and acquired. So
Yeah.
I guess
So
that's just the gist of where I am. Go
so
ahead.
you talked about learning not always and growing not
Practice
always being
balance.
happy. And yesterday for mom's birthday, I took her to the Van Gogh exhibit. Have you heard about this?
Hmm.
It was absolutely amazing. And when you first go into it, they have little sayings or glimpses into his life.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that you said just triggered, I took several pictures of these walls that, in this particular one, it says that his lifestyle in France had started to weigh on him. And he says, I have a lot of trouble painting because of the wind, but I fix my easel to pegs stuck in the ground and work anyway. It's
Really?
too beautiful. So even so, that just really struck me yesterday. And now I didn't anticipate it being part of today's show, but it is exactly what you said, is we'll miss out on the beauty if we give up because it's too hard, or because it's hard, not even too hard. Sometimes I think we've gotten into this mode in society where if there's any sort of struggle or difficulty, we don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But that's where we grow. I mean, again, I think about the caterpillar and the butterfly. We wouldn't have butterflies if the caterpillar didn't go through all the struggle first. It has to happen. It's not comfortable, but you can get amazing beauty. Again, I'm going to show you my new artwork. You can get amazing beauty through struggles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, going back to Van Gogh, he went through a lot in his lifetime, and his artwork is amazing and beautiful and has brought joy and peace and emotion to so many people. But if he had just said, the wind is too strong, I'm not going to paint, or my pain is too much, I'm not going to express it, we wouldn't have his artwork.
So grow through it. Don't run from it.
Yes.
And if it seems too much, ask for help. Reach out, because you're not alone.
Amen. Amen. I think that's a good place to stop. It's almost the end of the time anyway, so that seems like a good stopping point.
Okie doke.
So I'm going to end I'm going to pick us up before we leave. On Tuesday, on #NoLimits, I will be interviewing 4 visually impaired or blind baseball players.
Cool.
And they're going to tell us about a program called Beep Baseball, and that's how they play baseball. So join me on Tuesday at 1 o'clock Central, #NoLimits, right here, same place, same channel, and learn about how this group of individuals plays baseball and how you might be able to get involved sometime too. Have a great weekend, everybody.